I felt we wouldn't be able to deliver that as an agency, because for a real estate company to do it successfully and grow, they need a focused approach. They need a full-time focus, not an agency that submits a candidate to them and then submits it maybe to one or two others and let them fight it out.
Guy Last, welcome to the Rebel Agent podcast.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
I love success stories on this podcast, and we've certainly got one here, both with your work as a real estate agent and now running a real estate recruitment company. Looking forward to getting into all of that, but maybe you could just introduce yourself first and we'll take it from there.
Sure, yeah. Guy Last. I'm the managing director of Guy Last Recruitment. We launched 9 years ago now, at the end of, or beginning of 2016. Prior to that, I actually lived in Dubai for 10 years worked within the real estate industry. Came very early on in 2005. So witnessed the first initial boom of 2006, 7, 8 and 9, which was very interesting. And also witnessed the crash. But I was a senior sales negotiator, both in work for a developer and in the estate agency side, and progressed into management, regional sales director of one of the largest real estate companies at the time. We had over 150 brokers and several departments before being headhunted by Christie's International, which is now managed, I believe, by Jackie and Dinesh. But initially, when that brand came to the Middle East, I was headhunted to set that up and took that office from 0 members of staff up to over 70 members of staff within a 6-month period, and growing several departments, which was really good. And that sort of gave me the idea and inspiration to set up a recruitment company, which everyone thought I was pretty crazy at the time. And of course, I had opportunities to set up a real estate. There's several opportunities to do that. But at the same time, I'd been here for 10 years and I was dating my now wife. And we sort of made a decision that we'd like to go back to the UK, me having been here for 10 years. Yeah. And she didn't know at the time, but I'd already planned to propose and was very keen to start a family, which I'd always knew I was going to do close to where my family was. So, so I set up the business here and relocated back to the UK. And for the last 8 years, I have grown it and managed it all from the UK, which has had its challenges, but been fun. But recently moved back to Dubai, September last year. So been here now. My wife, 2 kids, a dog, and 8 suitcases after selling everything that I own in the UK and coming over here.
When was that, September when did you move
So
back?
we landed, so I keep saying we bought the place in September, but we actually landed on my 40th birthday. So I always imagined my 40th being in Las Vegas on the table somewhere with my top off. But I was on a flight with my family.
At least you were heading to a glamorous place, weren't you?
Correct,
albeit one you knew quite well.
Well, that was it. I thought at least it'll be something to remember. So I purposely booked it for the 7th. So we landed on the 7th of August, and we rented a place for a month whilst we transferred on the property, and then moved in September. Kids starting school and wife settled, and we did things to the house as well as continuing to manage and grow the business at the same time. So it was a busy back end of last year.
Yeah.
But it was great. At Christmas, we went home to the UK and then came back and just hit the ground running again with business, with everybody settled.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to talking more about the business and the success that you've had with it. I mean, first of all, no idea you were 40. You certainly don't look that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, maybe. Well, the grey hairs are definitely showing. I blame my boys for that. They're 6 and 4 now, but
so you love them to bits.
Oh, it's incredible. I'll take more white hairs and grey hairs any day. But it's been good.
Yeah.
It's been good.
I mean, doing what you did in terms of with your Dubai knowledge, but wanting to go back to the UK, recruitment like that was the perfect thing to do, wasn't it? Like you say, you could have done real estate, but it's not easy selling Dubai real estate from the UK, whereas recruiting, much easier. How did you go about doing the recruiting in the UK? Were you using the likes of Indeed and those Reed, those sites?
Yeah, so it started because I was working within a company that was very innovative for where it was as a business, and in the time period of, let's say, 2008, 9, 10. They really led the way in terms of growing real estate and structuring real estate companies. And one of the things that they did was recruit from the UK, and this is going back 15, 16, 17 years ago, so they were really, they were the first company to do it. So, and even the onboarding, the induction, the training was incredible. It really set the standard for many companies that went on to adopt that, many, many years ago. So I had really good experience in understanding how people were doing it and how companies could do it. And when the decision was made to go back to the UK, which wasn't an easy decision, of course, because my whole experience was in real estate. I did incredibly well as a broker, and was highly respected as a manager and director. So it would have been a natural progression, but I chose to go back to the UK and take a different. I remember the morning, me and my girlfriend back then, with my wife now, we were walking around Dubai Marina. I said, I think I could set up a recruitment company, She's like, Guy, what are you talking about? I said, I think we could do it from the UK.
Yeah.
Because I just knew how it was done, right? And I had all the experience, the knowledge of, how to work within the industry. Even back in when I set up the business, we had, part of our service was training, so every recruit that we actually hired from the UK came training with us in the UK before they flew over to Dubai. That eventually went online, of course, and still is online now. But yeah, for me, there were challenges, but I wasn't completely like a fish out of water. It was.
So just going back to that, that's a brilliant idea. So you're providing training for the UK agents, giving them Dubai training so that when they get off the plane here, they've already got experience.
Yeah, I mean, one of the key things, and even today I share with our clients, is reassurance. You have to reassure, whether they're local hires, whether they're international, in particular, international hires. The key is reassurance. They just want to be reassured. You're asking them to quit their jobs, leave their family, dip into their savings, not getting a salary, pay for their rent, pay for their flights. They need some form of reassurance. So what we did in the UK, and we did it for probably the first 4 to 5 years, just pre-COVID, we actually put it online, because what was happening, the cost that it was costing them £200-300 to travel to where I was and stay overnight, because it was 2 days. So we do a full day induction about Dubai as a city, as an emirate, how the real estate industry had evolved since 2002. When foreign investment was allowed, and the boom, the bust, the recovery. Back then, Expo was, it was an Expo, so we're teaching them about Expo. And then on the second day, it was like real into the nitty gritty in sales. We were teaching them how to pick up a phone, how to qualify a buyer, a landlord, a seller.
And this is before they've actually got it.
They hadn't even gotten a flight yet.
No, they hadn't gotten a flight. Had they been assigned with a real estate company in Dubai?
Yes, they'd secured a job already.
Okay.
So they'd signed with a company.
Yep.
And, it was always the weekend before they were set to fly, they'd come and spend 2 days with me. So if you go back on our if you go back on our Instagram, you'll see pictures of many successful agents that are here now, even company owners that have gone on to open up their own companies now. There's pictures of them attending our training in the UK. And that's all online now, and is available to all of our international candidates. On average, we recruit and relocate 20 to 30 candidates every month for our clients. So they're all having access to this online platform. So it was a transition, certainly, from one industry to the next.
And then you also help with the relocation, do you not?
Yeah, so that wasn't something I actually launched probably a couple of years later, because for the first 2 or 3 years, we were probably 5-6 agents a month, and I still remember to this day the reason I did it. And it was a agent or a candidate that was set to start at HMS Homes. I always remember, and I remember getting a phone call from Craig, and he was saying he's not turned up, he's not here. I'm like, well, I'm sure he's there. He's booked his flights. He sent us.
It's what recruiters dread, isn't it?
We don't know where he's gone. I'm like, he booked his flights. We got his accommodation, and so I was like, right, we need somebody that's going to keep on top of and support. Ultimately, the support. So a couple of years later, 2018, I opened up a relocation department, and somebody who's been in there since supports the entire relocation. So soon as a candidate signs an offer letter in the UK, they're assigned over to our relocation team, and they get access to the online portal, and we support them in booking their flights, accommodation, or their visa documentation, plus 1,001 other questions they tend to have through that process. We're there to reassure them, and update our clients.
It's a complete solution, isn't it, for people wanting to come over from the UK?
It is, yeah. No, it's a fantastic solution, and we've got hundreds of Trustpilot reviews that are pretty much 99% of them are based on our relocation support.
Is it really? Yeah.
So it's a real value added, and it's something that when clients do partner with us, it's ultimately they're passing that on as their value to candidates as well.
I want to talk more about your recruitment business, talk about the technology, your massive expansion just coming up. But before we do that, there'll be quite a few people watching potentially who will be thinking, what qualities do I need to make it as a real estate agent in Dubai? Would you like to just go into that?
Of course, yeah. From an international perspective?
Well, both. So let's do international. Let's say you come in from the UK or any other country in the world, and then maybe more, perhaps you wish to switch agencies within Dubai.
Yeah, I think it is different. I mean, ultimately, there is no golden bullet, I think. And I mean, if you really want to, I think anybody can make a living in Dubai real estate. How much of a living you make or how well you progress as a career, I think really depends on, the fundamentals of your personality, your attitude, initially. Because if they're not right, I don't think anybody will progress.
And some of that can't be taught, can it?
No, you can't be taught, right? So real estate is something that can be taught. It can be taught. So you're looking at the qualities of your personality, your motivation, your focus, your discipline, your willingness to learn and listen, and we spoke about egos previously. I think you'll find even today, the most successful brokers, you probably don't even know. You'll know of some very successful brokers online, but you won't know of many. And because they're not ego driven and they leave that at the door.
They're not shouting about it.
They're not shouting about it. And you'll see even some of and I won't name any names, but there's some incredible agents that have been in the market 15 years, the top of the game, and they're still providing training to their team members, or new people that are starting. That's the type of personalities I think will always progress. But I think it's within entrepreneurship as well. It's the ability to take action, not having that fear. Like, there's a lot of people you can talk about doing something, but I think the ability to take action and actually just do it without
have a go
and managing your fear, right? Because we all know that's not real, but it's the ability to take action. I think that's in entrepreneurship and business ownership as well. It's the, you come up with a new idea, new concept, new business model. It's just the willingness to take action and just do it, So I think that within real estate, those coming from the UK, don't overthink it. Just do it. There's always a risk. Manage the risk. Okay, what is the risk?
A 7-hour flight back home.
What is it? Is it a relationship? Are you risking a relationship? Are you risking a career? You've been with somewhere 10 years, and if you move now, you're not going to get that. What are those risks? But I don't know, out of the thousands of candidates we've relocated over the last 9 years from all over the world, I wouldn't think there's many that have regretted it. They've come away with some form of value or experience or friendship or network or gains financially, whatever that may be. Some even a partner.
Yeah, well,
I think it's the key fundamentals. Having the ability to, you really need to concentrate and focus and listen, learn. And leave the ego at the door for a while, but have that confidence, of course.
Yeah. And then what about the agencies that you partner with? What are you looking for in them? Obviously, they've got to want to work with you, but also you need to be able to work with them and check that you're the right fit. What are you looking for in those agencies?
Yeah, so we made some mistakes very, very early on, which was quickly learned in terms of, we're not short of business, or we're not short of companies wanting to recruit.
Yeah.
So there's enough companies in the market that need or want to recruit. But the key is, to run a successful campaign, it has to work both sides, And in essence, we've been consulting businesses for 6-7 years now, in helping them set up their departments. And because recruitment's one thing, retention is the other.
Yeah.
They've also got to retain, particularly in this industry. And I say to clients now, retention is the new recruitment. Let's focus on retention. Like, what are you doing to retain?
Well, absolutely, because if you look at LinkedIn profiles, quite often within the space of 12 months, an agent has moved 3 times, haven't they?
Yeah.
Okay, that might be a bit unusual, but I would say you would probably know what the average is, but it's not more than 18 months.
No, it's unfortunate, and the focus should always be internally for companies in terms of, like, what are you providing for the agent? Don't obviously, it's naturally for a lot of agency owners to be like, I want the top caliber, I want they've got to bill this much, got how much is 6 million. But if you can nurture talent, and there are so many talented agents out there that just something's not clicking within their current environment, or the company's not providing something, or relationships aren't quite right, or the motivation's down for whatever reason. So it's about nurturing that, because I always say to a business, you need to build IP, you need to build a business that is sustainable. It's not going to be sustainable relying on a handful of top brokers. If you can nurture and build and grow talent, is always the key thing. So, I mean, I've identified like 10 key principles that we look for within the business, which we say to clients and candidates, which is infrastructure, support, management, training, lead generation, marketing, an established brand. They need software systems. They do need that more than ever now. And then the other 2 are just as important as those 8, which is environment and culture.
You rattled those off impressively.
I've said it 1,000 times to candidates.
So you're right.
We're right. Because we say to candidates, you can go online now, and there are 100 agencies that you can apply for. Finding a job is not going to be your issue. The issue is finding the right company that has the infrastructure, the support, the management, the training, the lead generation, marketing, branding systems, and environment and culture. Those, if a company focuses on those, they will build something. I mean, you just look at the companies that have done it successfully, and that's what they have in place. So yeah, we're very cautious on who we work with, and we do work with startups. But again, we look for certain things with startups. And again, I won't go in and bore everybody with that, but there are certain things we look, and we want those to tick the boxes because we're there to support them. House and House, you could argue, was a startup 8 years ago. Macone, although being in the market for many, many years, Sam would say that the business really started 5 years ago when, we started with them. Luxfolio, Standpoint. There are many companies that we started with, we were actually in touch with for 6 months before committing to them. So we're very experienced in that world. And then we're very experienced in taking companies from double digits to triple, or from 100 to 300. So there are different things companies have to have in place depending on what they want to do.
For the startups, the smaller agencies, it's tough, isn't it, to attract that talent, because they think to themselves, okay, I'll offer a higher commission or whatever, but then they can't really afford that. But how do you get the top brokers? Is that something you've sort of come across, and what would you advise to a startup?
Yeah, we are now. We're working with a couple of startups now, great brands, great owners, great experience, and they have a great vision. And we work with, and we sit down at a table, and we sort of say, look, we relate everything back to real estate. And we just say, look, you're an off-plan company. You're an off-plan project. So how do you sell off-plan? You have to sell the vision. You have to show that you have everything ready to build, so everything that around where you want these people to come into, they want to see that, you're building the foundations, right? You've got the right equipment in place to put, so it's ensuring that the company you're investing in the right areas in order for the company to really back what they're selling.
Yeah.
So, when we work with companies that you could say are very well established communities, of course, it's a lot easier to sell.
Yeah.
Because it's green, there's plants, there's trees, there's swimming pools. So when a broker walks into an office and they've got a cafe and they've got God knows what's going to come next, it's a lot easier to sell. But we can sell off plan. It's just how we position it and work with the company to ensure that they have the right things in place and the project is going to be delivered.
Yeah.
So we're very selective as well with, startups.
Yeah, that's a good analogy with off plan. I like that.
Yeah. No, they sort of get it then. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, where's your vision boards? Like what are we selling here? What views have we got?
Yeah.
How many floors? What size of the apartment? So it's, and they're like, okay, I get it. Right. All right. Yeah, I understand. All right. This is where the marketing is. This is the support staff. We've got so
it's more than just setting up a property finder account and getting a CRM, isn't it?
And a logo and a website.
Yeah. That's the easy bit.
It's the easy bit, right? I always say, I truly believe, and it is what I've worked towards. And I've said to you before, one thing that we've always purposely, to a degree, lacked is our marketing. And because I'm so obsessed with delivery and performance, and I think there's two elements to business, two core things, which is performance and perception. You have to create the perception that you're a great company, and then you have to deliver on your product and service. And I obsess over performance, and as I said, we're positioning ourselves now to really show everybody what we're doing, but a lot of companies go down the wrong route too early, too soon, which is creating the perception that there's something that they're not, that they can't sort of back up.
Yeah, you get the systems and processes in place first, and then you push it out there.
Yeah. And you'll see the ones that companies that have come out of nowhere, and you think they've come out of nowhere.
Yeah. There's been a few years in the making.
Yeah. They've been focusing on making sure that the service or the product is being delivered first.
Yeah.
And then they can shout about it, because it doesn't matter how much volume comes in, they can deliver on it. So it's ensuring that these companies get those core values in place first. And again, look, this is just my opinion, and what I've seen successful and what I've done, and companies that I've worked with and businesses both in real estate and outside of real estate. So so it's interesting and exciting with startups. We love doing it with startups as well.
So I completely understand your model and operating from the UK and bringing people. By the way, have you still got people in the UK at all?
Yeah, so we specialized in international recruitment for 8 years. We now specialize in local recruitment.
Yeah.
It was something that we never did
and
for 8 years.
And that's when you brought Tina Kidd on board.
Yeah, so I've had business models in mind for quite some time, but being based in the UK, I found again, I just felt I wouldn't be able to deliver on it 100% how I'd want to. So when I moved back over here, it was ready to, because I'm on the ground. I could really make sure that we could implement it correctly. And the first thing, and like I say, I practice what I preach, and the advice that I give to companies, it's evident that I'm doing myself now. And one thing that I do is bring in the best talent that I can possible, to then roll out the service. And bringing Tina in was a key part that'll enable us to roll that out. So yeah, Tina initially came in. We're doing incredibly well. We're on to hitting our annual target in terms of clients by the end of our first quarter, which...
Sorry, she only started in December, didn't she?
She started in December.
So annual targets in just a few...
We set, so we had our leadership beginning of the year meeting online, and we sort of, set out our quarterly targets as a business, as a whole, and departments, individuals. And I sort of said to Tina that this is what to expect in the first quarter. This is what I feel we could deliver on. Of course, always managing expectations. And this is where it would be great to be by the end of the year. We're on to hitting our yearly target by the end of quarter one, which we, yesterday we just brought on another key member of staff, manager, that wasn't actually set to come on until the end of the year.
Really?
But we brought that forward now. And again, stars aligned with this individual that's coming on board with incredible experience, both in real estate and recruitment. and she's going to be working with Tina now in growing that department.
Quite a few, and then you've got quite a few people starting very soon, haven't you?
So we've got actually 8 recruiters starting tomorrow. Tomorrow, Thursday, they're being onboarded, inductions set up, and training, and then they go into a week's intense training next week, and then they're already assigned to clients.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to me, the fact that they're assigned to clients, and so it's just one agent, one of your agents, recruitment agent, that's working with each real estate company in Dubai. So there isn't a conflict of interest.
That's right. Yeah. So that was the issue or the pain in the market that I identified with recruitment, with real estate companies and owners was there's some really good talent in recruitment internally in some businesses, but there isn't enough. And I mean, individuals that can come in and not just strategize and, this is a strategy for the next 6 months to achieve the outcomes in terms of numbers in this department or agents or key hires, but having the ability to execute that as well. And, I've identified there's 3 T's that you need in recruitment, which is team. You need the right team, which the landscape is changing already in terms of the type of team you need in place for recruitment, technology, and touch points.
Right. Yeah.
You need touch points, particularly within Dubai real estate. And I felt we wouldn't be able to deliver that as an agency, as a third party, because for a real estate company to do it successfully and grow success, they need a focused approach. They need a full-time focus, not an agency that submits a candidate to them and then submits it maybe to 1 or 2 others and let them fight it out. They need somebody reaching out, representing their company, day in, day out. So our model is very well known within the recruitment industry, RPO, which is recruitment process outsourcing. It's very well used in other industries, never been introduced to Dubai real estate, and it fits Dubai real estate down to a T. And in essence, what it is that we recruit, train and manage a full-time recruiter, and we integrate a full team. So it's not just a full-time recruiter. So in Dubai, they work Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. till 8 p.m. at night. Mm-hmm. And we target each individual recruiter with a number of touch points on phone calls, WhatsApps, and LinkedIn messages. It works out nearly 1,000 touch points a week that
really
will be reaching out to agents in the market.
Yeah.
So it's an incredible brand exercise anyway. But they also get a delivery consultant. So we assign somebody to arrange all the interviews. So that headhunter is only headhunting. When they qualify someone, they're not messing around booking in interviews and changing and cancelling. And he's got a client meeting, we have to rearrange. And because there's 5 or 6 people constantly in the pipeline. So we split the 360 recruiter model into 120, 120, 120, and we have a focused approach on each element, which enables us to scale. Some results we've had are incredible. I mean, we started with a client that was just on our local agency on the 13th of January. By the end of January, they had presented 10 offers, secured 3 that had already started, and I think there was 4 or 5 that were pending in the first month. They were working with an agency prior to that for 2 months and received 3 CVs. So you can see the difference between work with an agency and then having that focused internal team that just are constantly representing your company.
Do you see it ultimately as being the end of internal recruitment at real estate agencies?
No, so we do. So the majority of our clients have an internal team. It actually supports.
Yeah.
It supports their processes. It supports their team. There's still a place for an internal team.
Yeah, but maybe reduced in size.
It can be reduced. And it can be supported. Again, it depends on what outcomes the company is looking to achieve, right? It depends on how many numbers, what departments, what areas. So no, it can certainly support, but it's also a very risk-free way of a company scaling as well, because for a very additional small fee, we can add in a full-time recruiter, an additional. We have clients now that have 3 recruiters with us. It's a 7-day turnaround and they're in, fully trained, fully managed, KPI'd, and we give a report to the client at the end of every month. They don't have to provide any visas, no phones, no laptops. It's all done.
A slick operation.
It's all done. So it's a very good model, and it's taken many years for me, of putting it together. We used to offer a retained model for 5 years. We rolled that out pre-COVID. That worked very successful, but we discontinued that last year because we recognised now more than ever there's too much competition for a retained model where a company is representing 2 or 3 companies.
Yeah,
there's not enough candidates. When companies need a focused approach on it. So it's really exciting, and companies really understand the benefits, and we've got some great success stories already with our clients.
Yeah, that's tremendous. We were talking earlier, as you said, and you were also talking about new technology. Do you want to talk a bit about that?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously some of it you've already covered, but
yeah, of course. I mean, we've always been a remote company back from 2016. We were sending clients Skype link, Skype accounts and everything back then. So, I still remember my first ATS that I put in place, nearly 10 years ago. That was, it was, well, I didn't do anything really, but it hosted data.
It shows that you were at the forefront of all this new technology.
I'd say, we were ahead of the curve in terms of understanding software technology to help streamline processes, to help advance the way we work. And we've always been at the forefront. And now we have full-time head of operations that fully just manage our technology, and they're actually KPI'd every month to bring 2 or 3 new pieces of technology to the table every month.
Wow.
To be integrated either for us or for our clients.
Yeah.
And we're building that team out as we speak. But yeah, we've been working very closely and been integrating AI products for the last 12 months. Very, very, very hands-on the last 3 to 6 months. And it's playing a huge part. And some of these things, and it fits very well with what we're doing on the RPO side with our clients, because ultimately what we're going to be doing, we've already started, but we're not shouting about at the moment, but it will be launched in the second quarter, where we have an AI talent partner solution now, where we will integrate our technology into businesses and help them manage it.
Yeah.
And I think that's ultimately, that is the future of recruitment. I think it's going to be more based around building it inside of companies rather than companies outsourcing it to agencies. The agencies are fighting over fees. It's a race to the bottom. Companies or individuals become demotivated. It's better. I think the companies like us that are willing to actually look, this is what we do. We'll put it into your business for you, because it doesn't matter how good the technology or AI is at the moment. You still need a driver.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're taking on these people, aren't you? So.
And we have incredible, talented people full time with us that manages ours at the moment, and these are going to be soon available to our clients full time.
Yeah.
So we're more interested in scaling the business in that way. So I think that's what technology enables you to do, and I think that's what clients are looking for. You're still going to need a driver. So yeah, some of the technology that we have at the moment is
exciting,
incredible.
Isn't it?
It's incredible. We're doing incredible things inside our business, in terms of business development and client attraction and candidate attraction. We introduced it to one client the other day, so we got a meeting with their shareholders. And for Guy Last Recruitment, it's exciting because we see this going into other industries. We always want to remain the go-to agency in real estate. It's always going to hold a close place in my heart, and I want to be the go-to. But I'm excited to now move into other industries and areas.
It makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Because if you've got it right in real estate with this technology, with this AI, you might as well look at other areas if you're at the forefront and you can do better than those other recruitment agencies in those other areas.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, the AI, I think it's no longer a buzzword. It's no longer a buzzword, and it's happening. It's done. And I think the companies have an incredible opportunity now to start exploring, testing, and integrating these technologies into their business. What they are going to be missing, which is where we're taking advantage of, is the skills and expertise to not only integrate them, but then to manage them and get the best performance out of them. Because like I said, they still need instructions to a degree, and then they need managing. So that's something we're excited about. We're already exploring other industries. We business development in hospitality, in construction, both in the UAE, Saudi, and we're scheduling some very exciting meetings to integrate this technology into their business. And it's IP at the end of the day. It adds incredible value to their business. Because it's one of those tough things when companies work with an agency, the agency does a job, and then there's no value left. The agency doesn't leave much value on the table for the clients until they re-engage again. So I think the clients or companies, and let's be more specific with real estate, the real estate companies that are going to be willing to integrate this. Because I'm a big believer at this moment in time, the real estate companies that are going to win are the ones that are investing heavily in recruitment and marketing.
100%.
That's where I'm at. And that's my opinion. And I might be wrong. But from what I see, companies that are willing to really double down, strategize, and execute their recruitment and their marketing are going to leapfrog ahead.
Yeah.
And we want to be able to assist companies at such a low cost, but high return.
Yeah.
That's the key for us.
And before we look to wrap up, obviously you've got that going on in Dubai and possibly other countries in this region. You're carrying on with recruiting from the UK. Would you ever try and set up a base in another country? I don't know, Canada, the US, European country, like you've got in the UK?
To recruit within those countries?
To bring agents from, say, France to Dubai.
So we already do that.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. So we've recruited from all over the world: South Africa, Canada, America, Australia, all over Europe, UK. The UK's, I would say, is probably 85% of what we do, and there's various reasons for that. Australia, we do recruit from Australia, but they have the sunshine.
Yeah.
They have the lifestyle. Areas over there are now quite dangerous, and they don't necessarily have the full security. They have the earning potential. There are commission role positions over there, such in energy, solar panels and things. There's a lot of salespeople over there earning incredible amounts of money. So they tick a lot of boxes. Same as America. It's commission only over there. Commissions are higher. You can move to Miami and become a realtor. You have the beach, the sun, the earning potential. Europe struggles, but UK ticks a lot more
sweet
boxes.
Spot, isn't it? First of all, you're from the UK, so you can
First,
relate.
you're from the UK. You don't have the high earning potential.
No.
Taxes constantly increasing. And even in America, as an entrepreneur, you're heavily backed. Great opportunities. If you have that entrepreneurial spirit, if you have an idea, it's not like the UK where you struggle. The US will back you, and there's incredible opportunities over in the US to seek investment, seek partnerships, and go to market. UK struggle. So the reason why UK is so, because they don't have the sunshine, they don't have the light. It's hard to create the lifestyle, the earning potential, and it's an easy transition over there.
And there's so many British here, aren't there? And the British influence, we were discussing that earlier as well. It's massive, isn't it?
Yeah. And even South Africa, we did a lot in South Africa as well. But it's a startup capital in South Africa that unfortunately people don't have. It's not a high earning environment and places in certain areas in South Africa. So coming over to a commission only is quite difficult. Which you have great people that come over from South Africa that may initially go into retail, hospitality, and then they'll shift into real estate.
Makes sense.
Settled, and they've got a bit of savings, or they've got a company that will maybe support them for 2 or 3 months. So we've explored, all areas around the world, and we've recruited from all areas over. But UK still is a good prime, because a lot of people are willing to do the
happy
move.
hunting ground for you. I can see that. We've covered quite a lot there, guys. Was there anything else you wanted to?
No. It's a pleasure being on. It's my first podcast.
You've been a great guest.
No, I appreciate it. I've seen, many of people on here, including Tina, obviously, and many guests you've had. That it's great to see the success stories of people that we've had played a small part in helping coming over from wherever in the world, and seeing the success those have had as well.
Yeah, I'd love to get you back on maybe towards the end of the year and just see how it's all gone.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, anytime. It'll be a pleasure.
And then in terms of contact details, is guylast.com the best place for them to go, or LinkedIn?
Yeah, LinkedIn. Again, we haven't focused heavily on our website and things. It's all being because of the new business models and the new services that we're providing. We're having one built out. But yeah, guylast.com, the Instagram, LinkedIn. Is all there as well.
Yeah, the other thing I'm going to put on, because I love the podcast that you've done. You haven't done one for a while, but you've had great guests on. So I'm going to put a link to that as well.
Great.
And so very good. Well, I really appreciate you coming on today.
Thanks for having me on. No, it's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks again.